Imagine a woman stepping out onto the cobblestone streets of Strasbourg, France in 1518, beginning to dance. There's no music, no celebration, yet she dances relentlessly, day and night. This is not the opening scene of an avant-garde film or the whimsical start of a magical realism novel. It's a historical fact, an event that took place in the heart of Europe during the 16th century. Her name was Frau Trophäa, and her spontaneous dance ignited a bizarre, uncontrolled dancing frenzy that spread like wildfire through the city. In the heat of July, Frau Trophäa stepped onto the street and started dancing. Her movements were not driven by the rhythm of any song or melody. There was no band playing, no festive occasion to celebrate. She danced alone, yet with a fervor that was impossible to ignore. As days turned into weeks, her solitary dance turned into a spectacle. The city's cobblestone streets became her stage, and the people of Strasbourg, her captive audience. But then, the unthinkable happened. One by one, people began to join her. What started as the solitary dance of a single woman quickly spiraled into a mass event. About 400 people were seized by the same inexplicable urge to dance. This was not a choreographed performance or a planned event. People were not dancing for enjoyment or entertainment. They danced in a trance-like state, unable to stop, even as their bodies gave out from exhaustion, and in some cases they danced until they literally dropped dead. This strange episode went down in history as the Dancing Plague of 1518. One of the most prominent instances of a phenomenon known as Dancing Mania. These occurrences, which spanned from the 14th to the 17th centuries, bewildered contemporaries and continue to puzzle historians even today. However, this was not the first time in history that an incident like this occurred. Let's take a step back in time to the dancing epidemic of 1374. This occurrence is one of the earliest recorded instances of dancing mania. Imagine a large group of people dancing uncontrollably through the cobblestone streets of Aachen, Germany. The townsfolk in their medieval attire were not celebrating or rejoicing. They were dancing as if driven by an unseen force. It was a sight that left a deep and lasting impression on those who witnessed it. The episode was interpreted as a form of divine punishment or possession, and remedies included pilgrimages and prayers. Now let's shuffle back a little further to the Dancing Plague of 1237. This event took place in Erfurt, Germany, and it was the children who stole the show. They started dancing in the streets, and like the previous cases, it has mostly been attributed to a mix of religious, psychological, and social factors. The sight of children, some as young as 6 or 7, dancing with wild abandon, was a spectacle that deeply unsettled the onlookers. It was an eerie scene that echoed with the sound of tiny feet tapping out a rhythm that only they could hear. As established, these events, though baffling, were not isolated incidents. They were part of a larger pattern, a sporadic wave of dancing that swept across Europe, causing widespread panic and bewilderment. These early outbreaks set the stage for a strange and bewildering phenomenon that would continue to perplex historians and scientists for centuries. The dancing mania, with its frenzied steps and unexplained origins, remains a fascinating mystery, a historical enigma that continues to dance its way through the pages of history, leaving us to wonder about the complex interplay between the mind, the body, and the cultural milieu that gave birth to this extraordinary spectacle. As the centuries rolled on, the dancing plague refused to fade into obscurity. One of the later instances of this bizarre phenomenon occurred in the year 1630, in the sun-drenched streets of Taranto, Italy. Here, the townsfolk were gripped by an unexplained urge to dance, often until they collapsed from sheer exhaustion. This dancing epidemic, like its predecessors, seemed to come from nowhere, taking hold of people and compelling them to dance for days, sometimes weeks on end. As was often the case, the mania was indiscriminate, affecting men, women, and children alike, turning the tranquil Italian town into a stage for this curious spectacle. But what could cause such an outbreak? Theories abound, but a few key factors stand out. In Taranto, like in many places where the dance erupted, the society was riddled with stress, economic hardship, and political instability. The people were under immense pressure, and the dance could have been a collective way of coping with these hardships. It may have stemmed from living in a time of uncertainty, with the weight of the world pressing down on you. In such circumstances, maybe the uncontrolled, frenzied dance could provide a release, a way to escape the grim reality, if only for a while. Religious fervor too played its part. The belief in possession by spirits or divine forces was prevalent in these societies. The dance could have been a way to appease these forces, a desperate plea for mercy, or perhaps for better times. Another factor to consider is the power of suggestion and imitation. Once a few people started dancing, it quickly became a social contagion. The dance spread, driven by the contagious nature of human behavior, turning individuals into a part of a larger, uncontrollable wave. This phenomenon, therefore, was not just a dance. It was a symptom of the times, a reflection of the societal pressures and beliefs, and a testament to the power of human behavior. It continued to spread, leaving a trail of exhaustion and confusion in its wake. The dancing plague, despite its historical significance, still remains mostly shrouded in mystery. Weaving its way through the tapestry of history, there have been numerous theories proposed to unravel its enigmatic nature. Let's delve into a few of these. Firstly, the role of psychological stress cannot be overlooked. The societies where these outbreaks occurred were often riddled with widespread poverty, famine, disease, and political instability. Such stressors could have stirred the cauldron of mass hysteria, serving as a unique form of collective coping mechanism. Then we have cultural and religious beliefs. During these times, the notion of possession by spirits or divine forces was commonplace. It's plausible that dancing mania was interpreted as a form of supernatural intervention, leading individuals to believe they were possessed. The need to dance was perhaps seen as a method to appease these perceived forces, an attempt to exorcise the invisible demons within. Next up, we have the power of social contagion. The human propensity for imitation and suggestion likely played a significant role in the spread of this hysteria. Once a handful of people started dancing, it's conceivable that this behavior spread like wildfire, fueled by the contagious nature of social dynamics. Lastly, we must consider physiological factors, specifically a condition known as ergotism. This is caused by consuming grains contaminated with the fungus claviceps. As foods were sometimes improperly stored or prepared at the time, some contaminants could have been widespread. Symptoms can range from hallucinations to spasms, which could possibly explain the uncontrollable dancing. While we may never fully understand what caused the dancing plague, it serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between our minds, bodies, and cultures, and the strange and unusual phenomena this can produce. It's a testament to humanity's resilience in the face of adversity, painting a vivid picture of our ability to adapt and cope, even in the most bizarre ways. The dancing plague, an entrancing mystery, has, over time, left us with more questions than answers. From France to Italy, these dancing epidemics reflected the complex interplay of societal, religious, and individual factors of the time. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the mind and human behavior, perhaps one day, we will find the key to understanding the enigma of the dancing plague.